This is always live. So we are back. Now, I have been at work and my soul has been itching to get to this conversation. We've been planning this since last week, so after the last talking out session we had, we decided to go ahead and deal with this topic. So the topic of today is, do women and men have the same emotions? The topic of today is, do women and men have the same emotions? So once again, I got my brother Aaron here. I got my sister Jazz to the right, Miss Off Camera, but she's Miss Devil Advocate as well. So we've been almost at a fist fight all week about this discussion. So we about to get to it. So I need all of y'all to tune in. All right. We also got Bishop Melvin Chambers joining in later on the live. He gonna tune in and, you know, try to help Jazz with her position that she's clearly gonna lose. So without further ado, let's get started. So we're gonna give you all the time to get on. I want y'all to go ahead and answer the question: do women and men have the same emotions? Let's get to it. Deidre, I am coming to get them brownies as soon as this live is done. Believe that. Alright, do women and men have the same emotions? So we're going to let the women go first. Sister Jazz, do you believe that women and men have the same emotions? Now, don't answer the question based on the information that we've already gave. I want your first initial answer to this question 2 days ago before we put you on game.
Oh my God.
I had to put you out there like that.
I see that.
So go ahead. What did you tell us when we asked you 2 days ago about do women and men share the same emotion? What did you say?
At first I said no.
Okay, so at first she said no. My position, women and men have the same exact emotions. How you stand?
Same.
Alright.
Of course.
So for the people?
So calm down.
So for the people, we had already started having this conversation. So Jazz is now on our side, and she is definitely a female. So we have a male and females agreeing now that women and men have the same emotions. But it's so many levels to this that we have to peel back, and that's a task that nobody else better than VERB can address. So let's get to it. Question number 2.
Question number 2. Can one emotion have multiple faces?
I thought we were doing the definition.
Yeah,
oh,
let's do.
I'm sorry.
Let's do definition.
I switched it. I'm
You
sorry.
said 2.
All right.
So there we go with the boy girl. Count correctly. So number 1 says, what are emotions?
Alright, so now that we've all dealt with whether or not women or men have the same emotions, we have some people that say they do, some people that say they don't. We need to deal with what are emotions. You want to take this one, Aaron?
So, according to the internet,
the
definition of emotion or emotions, a natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others.
Say that again.
A natural instinctive.
Hold on, let's slow it down. A natural, right?
A natural.
Okay, so natural means it's something that everyone can obtain. Okay.
Instinctive.
Instinctive. We all have instincts, right? Okay.
State of mind.
State of mind. We all have brains. Okay.
Deriving from one's circumstances.
We all have circumstances.
Mood.
We all have moods.
Or relationships with others.
And we all have relationship with others. So basically what you're saying, that the internet is saying that by definition, that definition has to apply to every single human being on earth.
Correct.
So do we agree that the male and the female counterpart makes up human beings?
Correct.
So we have to all agree that by definition, at least, that men and women can and does both share the same emotions.
Correct.
Okay, so what do you think the problem is?
I think the problem is people are confusing, do men and women have the same emotions with do men and women express those emotions the same?
very well put. Could you say that again for Jazz?
I think
I meant the people in the
Because
back.
they love wordplay. So
I meant
make
the
sure
people.
you use the correct words
I
in
think
your sentences.
people are confusing the question, do men and women have the same emotions, with do men and women display those same emotions in the same way or in the same fashion?
So basically what you're saying is, when we first ask the question, do women and men have the same emotions, people say no, but not because that they think that we have a different set from women, but because of the way that women normally display emotions, men don't normally display them that way.
Correct.
Okay, I can agree with that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So we may have a bigger problem here then.
Yes.
Because people are saying one thing, but they're actually meaning something else. And that creates a problem. So now we can get into question number 2.
Okay, question number 2 is, can one emotion have multiple faces?
Can one emotion have multiple faces? So let me explain how I feel that we've got to this problem in society. So could you close your eyes for me real quick? And I'm going to call out an emotion, and I want you to say the first image that comes to your mind. Okay. Picture a girl. Okay. Now, I'm going to say an emotion, and I want you to instantly tell me what her body language and her face looks like.
Okay.
Sadness.
Lots of tears.
Tears. Oh, I'm so good at this. You see, I was at work trying to pre-plan how you would answer this question, and you hit it right on the head. I'm glad you said that. All right. So I had Jazz to close her eyes, and I told her to picture a female, and I gave her an emotion. Sadness. She said tears. So she initially attached tears to sadness and a female. Okay? Brother Aaron, could you close your eyes?
Yes, sir.
All right, so now we have a male. He's a very manly male, pretty buff. So he's all male. All right. So
Calm down.
he has glasses on, but he can still close his eyes. So could you close your eyes for me?
Yes.
I want you to picture a man. Me preferably, no shirt on, gym shorts, and okay, I'm taking it too far. All right, picture me or you. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna make it personal. Picture some random guy. All right, I'm gonna give you an emotion, and I want you to tell me the first body language or facial expression or activity that comes to mind when I give you this emotion. All right. Sadness.
Writing poetry.
Woo! Hold, wait. First of all, he didn't say girl when you said tears. And you see, that's the problem. You see, that's the problem right there. So let me tell y'all what just happened. You can't even believe. You can't even believe, son.
What is your beef, yo?
Let's get to it. Okay, let me tell y'all what just happened. All right, so Aaron closed his eyes, and I told him to picture a guy. And I gave him the same emotion that I gave Jazz. And when I said sadness, Aaron said writing poetry. This the thing. Both had the same emotion, and when Jazz said tears, it didn't bother us not a bit, because we are used to sadness being attached to females, being attached to tears. But when I gave the same emotion to Aaron, and he said writing poetry, Jazz's face was like, boy! As if...
Because you really saw this man write poetry because he's sad? Like, that was your first...
You don't see the
That was
problem?
like your first thought. Like, there was a first thing you saw him doing because he's sad. Was writing poetry.
You don't see the problem with this?
I'm just trying to get clarification so I can understand.
So
Men,
wait.
apparently, I didn't understand them better. Know that they can, give off an emotion of writing poetry because they're sad.
So I'm saying,
What?
hold on. So if we
I'm
were
just trying to
to
get
have,
clarification. I'm not coming.
No,
But your body language make it seem like it's
That
impossible.
was the furthest thought. I was thinking, right? No.
This is the problem.
I was not expecting the writing poetry to be your response. Is the first thing you see when you see a man out there sad. Like,
That's the problem. The fact that you can't even fathom that there's another reaction to the same emotion that you're so familiar with being displayed.
Right, that's just different to me. I'm not judging it. I'm not, knocking it. It's just different.
Oh, so when your face said, boy, That's not a judgment.
Different. That's different.
No, that was a
please.
That's not.
You ain't trying to feel, son.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, cause y'all cut up when y'all heard me say tears.
No, we knew that was coming. So let me explain.
Why can't I have a reaction when he says writing poetry?
No, our reaction wasn't nigga please. Your reaction was nigga please to us.
Alright, go ahead.
So listen, let me explain. I'm so glad it worked out. So what just happened is the reason that y'all think that men don't have the same emotions because we don't display them the same as females. So sadness for Jazz is tears. Sadness for Aaron is poetry. So when Jazz gets sad, she may go cry, grab a tub of ice cream, call her homegirls, go out in the city, twerk some. Okay, now.
That sounds real. You doing too much. So that's what we do. So that's what we go out in the streets and do. We go eat ice cream and go out in the city with our girls and twerk.
Where did tears come from? You don't think tears are stereotypical for the emotion of sadness? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
No, I don't think it is.
Okay, hold on.
Sadness.
So if
if you're sad, if somebody in your family dies, you're gonna go write poetry and instead of cry?
Hold on. So ask her the same question.
So you don't think tears is a stereotypical answer for sadness?
What else does it attach itself to?
So you don't think that's stereotypical?
It's a common thing associated with sadness. I don't think it's...
So you don't think that's stereotypical?
Yes, it is. Because that's how I initially attach sadness is immediate tears or crying or...
So question. Do you believe that everybody who experienced sadness immediately cry?
No,
crying
I
with their
know. People
immediate
do handle it differently. But as far as just when you gave me the little exercise...
So that's what makes it stereotypical.
What do you mean stereotypical? I'm just saying...
Common, often viewed, normal.
Yes, I think tears are normal or attached to sadness.
I got you. Could you say that line you said just then? You said people do what differently? When you like people react to sadness differently.
Right.
You said that really calm.
I did.
But when Aaron...
It was just interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Again, that was
But you just said people react differently.
It was not
but when he gave you a different reaction, you just couldn't fathom
I
it.
just wasn't expecting poetry.
So listen, a stereotype is a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing.
So yes, crying or stereotype.
Right? So why when I use it stereotypically and you've already used it stereotypically on the problem?
But why I gotta eat ice cream? Like, why you gotta take it there? Like, y'all don't sit and eat ice cream when you're sad?
No. We write poetry.
Come
Like, she don't want it, she ain't trying to hear it.
back.
Let's see what the people saying, bro. Let's see what the people got. Let's see what the people got, bro.
Hang up.
Good Lord, hold on. Let's see what the people got. Lord have mercy. She ain't trying to hear it, bro. We need a person specifically to do this. Okay, just a lot of people tuning in. All right. So I have a question. You can admit that people react to emotions differently. So could you help me understand, since you already know that there's multiple reactions to the same emotion, but when Aaron gives you one, it surprises you.
It just kind of threw me off. That is probably something that he does to when he said it.
Okay.
It just threw me off. I'm not saying that it's wrong or that you can't express it through. It was just an interesting answer, and I was not expecting that.
So
that's
okay.
all.
So
that's great.
Let's do the exercise with you then. So let's close your eyes. And
Close your eyes. Oh yeah, let's do it. Close your eyes.
Close your eyes. Think of a man.
Picture a man, a male. Yeah.
All right.
Shirt on, shirt off, doesn't matter.
Rain, no rain.
Aaron, Adrian, take a pic.
Yeah.
The when I say this emotion, think of the first thing that comes to your mind in terms of what his face or his demeanor or his body language looks like.
Okay.
Sadness.
You can't even give us an answer. You can't even get an answer.
And you mad at my answer?
So wait. So you legit don't see the problem here? It's really hard for women to even attach an emotional reaction to something that should be common.
Right.
That's a problem, bro.
That is a problem.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, man.
I was gonna say listening to music, but then like
You couldn't even give son a reaction. Son, mom just died.
I don't know.
His house just burned down. Son supposed to be like this.
I mean, that's how
That's wrong,
the
son.
men in my life that I've come across, that is how they respond. And I mean, they don't really show a lot of emotion. It's just, I'm gonna pick up these pieces and we gotta keep moving. So that's how I've always interpreted. Like, I don't really, in my experience or my life, I haven't really seen men express.
Hold on. So I beg to differ. I would be willing to say that you've seen men express emotions right in front of you, but because you have already assigned this one reaction to that emotion, and if they weren't displaying that reaction, you were blinded to the emotion that he was displaying. Yes or no? Because he didn't cry when that happened, and he may have went off to himself for 4 or 5 hours, right. Went out in the car and let the seat back, right. Just listened to music, wrote poetry, played the game all day, slept all day. He was doing those things, and you called it acting funny. You called it being distant. You called it you don't never like to express your feelings. You called it I don't know when something is wrong with you because it didn't look like what you are used to seeing. So you blinded yourself from all the other avenues that he was displaying, and then you initially stripped that man of his ability to even give you another option to see him for who he was. No. I'm not saying you.
I'm not saying me. I'm saying
women.
I strip it. Like, what do you?
You just did. You couldn't even give son an action.
It's not my fault.
It's your mind.
In my experiences, that's how I viewed men that have been around me.
Do you see it as a problem now?
I do see it as a problem.
We got a big problem.
Well, then do better.
So much, you don't even know when you
look, she got alone right now. We messed up when she could give something emotion. That's why we messed her up.
I should have an answer to that. Give me an answer.
Bruh.
Because writing poetry wasn't it.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
Like I said, the next thing I was going to say was listening to music. Kind of, get in your head and maybe, like you said, go in the car, lean the seat back and just listen to some music.
So, ask me what I do when I'm mad.
What do you do when you're mad?
Clean up.
Me too.
So, if I'm mad and you're expecting me to respond aggressive, like I'm the man, girl, get the out my face. But I'm around the house cleaning. You can't recognize my anger. Because I don't slap you around, call you out your name, disrespect you. You say, well, that ain't my, he unbothered. He ain't never bothered. But I done clean this whole house from top to bottom every single day this week. But you can't see me because you're so used to crying or slapping being the only emotional reaction to these set emotions that when I'm showing you different ways to see me, I'm invisible to you.
And again, this is just me.
Louder, please, for the people in the back.
It would have been a red flag from the jump seeing a man clean. Like I would have initially thought something was wrong or that you were upset, because that's what I do when I'm upset or annoyed. Like I just start cleaning. Now if I see a man doing that, it's just like that's a red flag. Like something is wrong. Because I do that too.
You clean when you mad?
Yes, I do.
I clean too.
That's awesome. don't.
Do I have a vagina?
No, you don't.
Do you have a penis?
No, I don't.
So does that make us? Oh.
I mean, that's just.
We are equal emotionally.
Okay, so, and in that.
Can you agree now?
In that situation, yes. When we're annoyed or angry, upset, we
clean.
Cleaning. Yes.
We're two totally different people.
Right.
Can you believe that I can display an emotion the same way that you can?
Yeah, but it's
Wow.
But it's what?
nothing.
Say what you gotta say.
No, I can't.
Who the dunk it?
Who the dunk it?
Who the dunk it?
I didn't know that you do that. So that's really cool that you
So-
handle your anger that way.
So, what's surprising me is, not only do I realize now that the world has specifically assigned a gender and one reaction to emotions, you also are willing to accept some over the other. Because when we are on the same page of cleaning, I felt like we connected just then.
Right.
But when Son said he wrote poetry, you ain't trying to feel that.
That just threw me off. That's all.
Why? Because it's something you wouldn't do.
I do write poetry.
When you're saying?
No.
Oh, so that's why there's a disconnect there.
Correct.
So could you agree that the emotional standard has been set by the female?
No.
What?
Why is it? What do you mean set? Like
Because you do. Because when I said female sad crying, male sad, when I said female anger cleaning, male anger cleaning, I can do that. Female sad crying, male poetry, please.
I didn't.
The standard is female.
It was just.
The standard is female.
It was just an interesting answer.
Can you agree that the standard of emotional display that we go by has been set by the female's reaction?
No.
You can even answer me with all by hearing though.
That's not my fault.
Who?
That's my experience.
Because of the standard.
That wasn't set by a female. That was just how that man or uncle or grandfather acted around me.
Because the standard was already set, that's all you could assign.
So you're saying the woman sets the emotions for the man.
Okay, so I think what
I'm getting confused.
Yeah, so let me
Please
try
help.
Because you're mighty quiet over there.
Calm down.
Explain.
Help her
I
understand
think
me.
what he's trying to say is it's not that the female sets the standard, but the standard is set based on the female's reaction. So, removing male and female. When you think of sad, what's the reaction you think of sad?
I can use tears again.
Okay.
Right. That's not even based on gender, right?
Right.
But when you add gender to it, you can only see the female crying or
and not the guy.
tears and not the male.
Right.
When you think of mad, what do you think of? Or what reaction do you think of? Genderless.
Just genderless.
Cleaning.
Cleaning. Okay. Yeah, cleaning.
But you can only attach the female to that reaction.
Because it surprised you when I said I did.
It did.
When
I
you think
know
of,
a lot of men that
so let's do something we haven't talked about. When you think of happy, what do you think of? Genderless. What reaction do you get from happy?
Smiling. Just I don't know.
Smiling. Okay.
I mean, just to associate.
Just happiness.
Just a reaction to
reaction to
happiness.
happiness.
My favorite food or comfort food or I don't know what.
Well, no, happiness. Like say you.
Like when you're sad, you cry, right?
Right.
So when you're happy,
I
what do you smile?
Right.
Can you see a man smiling when he's happy?
To the same degree that women smile.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it. What's another emotion we talk about? Fear. When you think of fear, what do you think of?
Genderless. What do you see? What are the body language? What are the words? What are the reactions? Genderless or fear?
Scared.
Like how do your body look?
Shocked.
Okay.
Shocked? Do you run when you're fearful? Do you
Cringe up? Do you
like
Scream.
scream? Okay. When you think of a woman being fearful, do you see her screaming?
Yes.
Can you see a man screaming when he's fearful?
Yes.
Her lips shook. It was like
No.
So the point he's making is
Right.
the standards aren't necessarily set by females, but they're set based
on
on
the
a
female's reaction.
What do you? I guess I'm.
Okay.
Because
But
all
the
the
reaction thing is what's
Okay. Wait. It's like, okay, so, we're gonna pretend. You know what a good father is, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna say that your father was a wonderful father.
Okay.
When you see another father being wonderful, do you think that your father is the one that taught all these other fathers? He didn't.
No.
But he's upholding a specific standard that was set and taught by somebody at one place in time, right?
Right.
That's what we're saying about the female's reaction. I'm not saying that a woman woke up one day and was like, okay, well, here are emotions, sad, anger, blah. Here are the responses.
Okay. So, yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that along the years, whatever the woman reacted to that emotion, society has attached the woman's reaction to that emotion so that if it's not displayed that way, it's hard to fathom that there's a different reaction to that can come from a male. So when we're saying the standard was set by women, not some random woman woke up and wrote them down, but along the years of society going along, because the woman has been the one displaying them into what's being common, that's what they should look like. That's a problem. Because a lot of men are displaying the same emotions, but it looks different. And y'all script us of emotions as a whole by saying, oh, well, my man don't show emotions. He do. You just don't know what they look like because you're assigning them to your reaction.
But why doesn't she know what they look like? Why is her man not communicating with her as far as when something is wrong or something's upset or bothering him? Instead of him going off to play games for hours or going outside or doing whatever, why can't he communicate that with her? Why should she fix her lips to be like, he has no emotions? She's saying that because she's never seen him display them.
You know what?
That's not on her.
You know what?
That means on his end.
If you give me a minute, I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
All right. The reason he can't and don't is because how you reacted when he did. Gotcha.
No.
The way you reacted to Aaron a while ago is the reason.
No.
What you mean, no? I'm telling you the answer.
So he gonna let me be the one to stop
Oh,
him.
no. He can just move on and find somebody that's willing to accept his emotions.
Mm.
Oh, now you're bothered.
Mm.
Because he just displayed it and you had a problem with
I
it.
did have a problem.
You
with
did.
it.
Your face was smashed.
It was just an unexpected answer. That's great that he expresses it that way. That man, this fake man that we're talking about right now, he don't even express writing poetry. He just don't do anything. And she sits back and she says he has no emotions. Because she ain't never
she's
seen
wrong
him.
though. That makes no sense. She's
How
wrong
you know?
because the definition of emotion means everybody got them.
Well, why
So
he
you're
not-
tricking
Why
yourself.
he not showing them to her then?
He is.
How
He
you know?
is.
He haven't know.
Because we all got them.
Yes,
And they
we
got to be displayed, whether it's through silence, poetry, silence, video games. They're displayed in some way, form, or fashion. But because they don't look like what you used to. She don't.
Oh, don't you want me
What?
to read between the lines?
Are we talking about that right now?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
It's
Don't
all
tie that-
relevant.
all
Don't tie
relevant.
that- Don't tie that.
Okay,
into
so let
this.
me ask you a
Y'all
question.
getting out the scope.
Let me ask you a question. Has there ever been a time where you displayed a particular emotion in front of someone, but because of the way that they received your display of that emotion, you refused to display that emotion around them ever again?
No.
What?
For what? Just because they
Hold on.
don't understand.
Ask the
I'm
question
gonna be
again.
me, and I'm gonna still show my same emotion in front of them. Why
That's
should I
not
show-
true because you believe in matching energy. That's not true. Ask the question again. I don't think she understood the question.
So I'm gonna
Give
ask
him a
you one
minute.
more time.
Ask the question again.
Has there ever been a time where you might have displayed a particular emotion in front of someone, and based on how they received you displaying that particular emotion, that deterred you from displaying that emotion around that person?
But why should it?
I'm not
I mean,
asking
I'm
why. I'm asking you. Has that ever happened to you? Yes or no? Think of a time.
Yes, okay, I got the time.
And
So there was a time where you displayed an emotion to somebody and they didn't give you any type of energy that was supposed
or the reaction you
your
were
reaction you was expecting. So there was no need for you to try that again because you learned that dang, I displayed joy or happiness or missing or love to this person and they just looked at me like I was crazy. So you didn't try to get it to them again because you learned that they're not going to reciprocate that emotion. Yes or no?
So your question as to why can't the man communicate that whatever emotion he's displaying to his woman, it might have been a time where he tried to and he didn't receive the reaction that he was expecting.
Like
so
you gave Aaron a while ago.
Exactly.
It don't take but one time for you to cut me down. How many times do you want me to let you punch me in the face? Aaron said sadness, poetry. You was like, no.
I was just surprised.
No, but I'm saying, but that's his point. His point is your reaction to me saying poetry could deter me from even talking to you about poetry ever again, because clearly you don't accept
ain't trying
that.
to accept it.
That is not fair because I don't understand, or I wasn't expecting that to be your response to sadness. You should just not talk about what poetry
But
is.
you do it though.
Because I don't understand it.
You do
Why
it.
not communicate and talk to me about, well, you know I probably never talked to you about this before, but this is something that I do in order to channel my sadness.
And we're not disagreeing
Again,
with that.
why not have that conversation with old girl? And he probably did have the conversation, and he probably did get what he wanted. But why should he change who he is to show an emotion because somebody didn't receive it? Why am I changing who I am or changing my emotions to fit you when I'm around you? If you feel like poetry is the way, teach me. Teach me about poetry. Let me know that poetry is a great outlet for sadness instead of me crying all the time.
But it was so hard for you to even accept it.
It wasn't.
How we gonna teach you
not
something
accepted.
you don't want to accept?
It wasn't not accepted. It was just unexpected. I wasn't expecting that to be your outlet. So now that I know, instead of you shunning me the hell out, why don't you just teach me about
I'm
it?
not.
Instead of, so I won't have that reaction.
You hurt me.
We're not.
And I'm sorry. So now that you've told me that hurts you, me being the woman that I am, I'm going to apologize and I'm going to understand.
But all women don't do that though.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. But I'm telling you what I would do since you're putting the focus on me.
You are speaking on behalf of general women.
No, not speaking on behalf of
But
me.
nobody is
disagreeing
with that. Nobody's disagreeing that there needs to be communication about the way we display emotions. We're simply answering the question as to why a man may not initially explain or communicate, hey, this is what I do when I'm sad, or this is what I do when I'm happy.
Because the stigma has been set based on the woman's reaction. That is all we're saying.
Now, do you agree or disagree that women, if a woman was in that situation where they displayed an emotion and their man didn't get the reaction from their man like they were hoping?
Now she having a six-em.
Or
He
not,
didn't respond.
That,
now she's gonna go get these down. Now she having a six-em.
Right? Like, do you?
Oh, you didn't want to respond. You didn't want to give me a shoulder to cry on. I'm gonna put these tears on somebody's wood.
Right? Because what y'all try to do is y'all want men to read your mind or read between the lines instead of fully communicating exactly what it is that's on your mind.
You should know. It should be common sense. Sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? Does this sound familiar? You should know. You should know me. You should know when I'm feeling some type of way. Does that sound familiar?
You should be able to read between the lines.
We want the same energy. Hard, ain't it?
Yeah, it's nothing wrong
Did you
with
say
that same energy. It's nothing wrong with getting that. Just make sure it's communicated so you can get what you want.
That ain't what you do.
How you know?
Cause I know you. We've been friends. We talk all the time. You is the poster child for read between the lines.
So you telling me as far as Swanee, so you're just gonna be like whatever she wants and or needs. You know what her needs are. You know her moods. You know her ticks. You know her
I'm glad you brought it up.
You don't. So that's what I'm meaning by that.
No, listen. Hold on.
Aaron's not going to be able to know those triggers or those ticks, but I bet you are because you're her man. You've been with her for years. You know how she operates. I'm not saying a psychic.
I do terrible.
But you know how to handle her. You know how to talk to her.
I got my third.
You know how to soothe her. If a situation pops up.
I'm glad because we brought this up.
Wait. What is it now? Go.
We have to talk to you.
Go ahead.
So, let's say, I came to work. We were at work, right?
A little louder, please.
Let's say I'm at work, and every time someone doesn't check in the DTR that I'm trying to get access to and edit, that pisses me off. So first time that ever happened, I'm like, man, I'm sick of that. Like, that makes me really mad. Happens the second time, man, I'm sick of that, bro. People never checking their DTR. The third time that happens, can you guess what my reaction is gonna be to someone not checking in their DTR?
What you gonna do?
I want you to guess.
Dang, wow, they had checked in.
I'm gonna be upset, right?
Right.
So you can assume my reaction is gonna be me being upset or displaying anger based on previous experiences or previous accounts of this same thing happening, right? So in a case where we're in a situation that looks familiar to us or that's similar to something that has happened before, yes, being able to read between the lines or assuming how I'm feeling or what my reaction is going to be is appropriate. But if we're in a situation where we have no precedence for, or there's no past experience to go off of, it's impossible to read between the lines or to assume what my reaction or what my emotions may be, because this has never happened before. Agree or disagree?
What you mean it's never happened before? It's
So,
just happened to you previously twice.
No, we're not talking about
the DTR situation. Because the DTR happened once, twice, the third time, you can assume that he's going to have the same reaction as he did the first two times, right? But say we get into a situation where the situation has never happened. You don't know what he's going to do because you've never seen him in this situation. True.
So like, let's say for instance, I bring my lunch to work, and nobody's ever eaten my food that I brought to work. So let's say I go into the break room, I'm looking for my lunch, and turns out somebody ate my lunch. What are you going to assume my reaction is?
Anger.
Why would you assume that though? Because that's never happened.
Somebody took something of yours when it belonged to you.
Now, are you basing that reaction on how you would feel?
Because you never saw him display that, because it never happened to him. So where is that answer coming from?
I guess just general situations.
But it's him though.
Scenarios.
He's Aaron.
So that's my initial reaction or my.
So you drew that conclusion based on never seeing him do that, but because generally you think that a man is just gonna get angry.
But not a man or a woman.
Okay, so you assign that to him.
If in this situation, yeah, I would assume that you would be upset about somebody eating your food. I think that would be with a man or a woman. I'm not even gonna try to put that to a gender. That's just whether you display that in front of me or not. You walked into this break room with your mouth fixed for your food, and it's no longer here because someone came in and took it and ate it, and now you have nothing to eat. So I don't know if you're gonna be sad. Or you probably will. I don't know, but my initial would be you probably be upset.
Right, or my reaction would probably be, "Thanks, somebody ate my food."
That
I can just go.
Yeah.
Either they need it, or I can just go buy some food at the food court. So that's exactly my point. So it's hard to assume someone's reaction when there's no precedent.
It's never happened before.
So in a situation like that, assuming or reading between the lines is not appropriate because you just shooting in the dark at that point. But when you have a situation that looks similar to something that has happened previously,
we can probably guess that this is
we can make an educated guess.
And what women do, what a lot of women do, not all, you all assume that since we reacted or we read between the lines this time, it should now be common, or you should know the tics, or you should know this by now, because you are assigning situations where we caught it in the past, but these circumstances are different. So you have to stop assigning specific emotional suggestions or reactions based on stuff that happened in the past, because we have the same emotions that you do. We are subject to react differently every single time. Something that made me sad and I got quiet about the first time, I may go off and listen to music the second time. I may want to play the game the third time. I may want to take you out to dinner the fourth time. I'm subject to change just like you are.
Okay, and nobody's taking that from you.
The world has. With the question.
Earlier it was do better.
Yeah, do better. Now you're sorry.
Sorry for you.
Thank you. Could you tell the world on behalf of the women, all the men out there, that you're sorry?
Can we put you on?
Could you please tell the men that? We just need a I'm sorry for the men being stigmatized, not being considered for a different emotional display that the world is used to. So on the behalf of every woman in the world, speaking to every man in the world that has been dealing with this for their entire childhood to adulthood, Could we get a I'm sorry?
I said I'm sorry to you. This is not a.
We all need this. Every man in the world needs an open door to effectively display our emotions the way that we want.
Well, then do that. But I'm not going to apologize to you for.
But you admit that we have a problem.
What, the men have a problem?
We are in a box.
Y'all are. And unfortunately, I feel like that's happened since childhood.
Right.
Y'all have not been able to fully express your feelings and your emotions like how women were able to. And now as you grow into adulthood, when you do try to display these emotions,
we're seen as weak, watered down, gay.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying, but the part you're apologizing is for perpetuating the stigma that's been placed on you.
Yeah, not to them. No, because this was your belief.
You're not apologizing?
Period.
This was your belief.
And you verbally expressed it.
I'm having a conversation with you two. I'm not apologizing.
But we are men, just like the other men out there.
On behalf of women, there's probably women out there that don't.
You know they wrong. You know y'all wrong.
How? What? We're wrong.
Yes.
Because when you talk about men, you're lumping us in with everybody, yo.
You just gave Aaron a general reaction.
It's like you're trying to lump this apology.
Because you know it's wrong.
Because you part of the problem.
You part of the problem.
Part of the problem.
You're not now because we've had this discussion.
Society is part of the problem.
But you agree with them.
I can't help it. Just like
you can't stop it.
Just like the internet. Just like what we talked about before. I didn't do it.
But
you are going along with it.
I'm not going along with anything. I'm showing a point. I'm proving a point. But that the world has already viewed you this way.
But this is
the world.
If you have come, okay, I have a question. Have you come to the light prior to having this discussion with us that you now need to be more keen to different emotional displays rather than the stigma that has been set by the common woman's reaction? Do you now realize that there's multiple arrays of displays based on gender, ethnicity, society that you need to start to recognize as sadness? Yes or no?
I do need to know more of what makes you sad.
Right. So the fact that you can identify with the fact that, dang, I came in here only thinking that if you're not crying, you're not sad. Now you realize poetry, all type of other stuff can come into play. You realize that, dang, I was agreeing with society, but society was wrong. Yes or no?
Why do you want me to denounce it?
Because you upheld it. You was very proud.
So why not just say that not you, but men need to just do better with communicating? Like, why are you trying to make it hell-bent on women taking away the stigma? Like, why don't you just do better?
As
far as like just displaying that, like this situation where I just got it misunderstood at the fact that sadness can correlate to poetry. Why not express it?
I have a contradiction. Okay, you're saying men need to do better with displaying it, right?
Communicating is what I'm saying, because y'all display it differently,
right?
So at least,
but that was something you didn't even really realize, though. So we need to get you to acknowledge the physical reaction before you can even accept the words that are coming out of my mouth. So you need to begin to see that, dang, okay, he might be sad because he's doing this. So now when we do approach you, you're able to now be willing to accept the communication. But if the action is strange, you're not even finna listen to the words.
I ain't never seen the action though. Like
that's the problem.
Okay. So
you saw it. You saw it, but because you only thought it was supposed to look like this, you were blinded by it.
So teach me.
That's what we're doing now. But you have to admit that your own textbook was wrong.
I ain't apologizing. Okay, I can only worry about this one. The rest of the world.
But if we change you, we can change your friends, and your friends can change their friends, and their friends can change their friends, and eventually the whole world will understand how they were wrong.
So sweet that you have that mindset. So cute.
So do you agree or disagree that the stigma surrounding men and the way that they display certain emotions needs to be destroyed, basically?
Because it's wrong. Because there's multiple ways to do that.
What would need to be?
So what would need to be done is people, like he keeps saying, people need to start being able to accept that there are multiple ways to display emotions. Before we can start to communicate what those reactions are, you need to be in the place of being able to accept it. Now, once I'm able to accept it, we can talk about what your reaction is to this particular emotion.
Well, I mean, this seems like it's too much. Like,
What?
So it's easy.
We ain't got a chance.
So it's easier just to go along with what
We
you're
ain't got a
I get
chance.
all of this reaction. I'm just trying to understand.
We ain't
Okay.
got a chance out here.
So my thing is, why? Like, it's like there's a missing. It's something missing.
You.
Like it's going from me seeing the emotion, seeing you on the couch when I come in, and you just, you're just sitting there. So instead of, I'm just walking through, and instead of, you telling me what's wrong, or when I ask you what's wrong and you say nothing, and I keep going on about my day, like, why not just communicate from that moment? Like, you want me to stop and be like, what's wrong? You say nothing. Now I need to come over there.
Okay.
And I need to.
So I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
Like, is that real?
Let's stop. I'm so glad you said that.
Okay.
And this is going to bring us even closer together.
Okay.
This is going to really seal this thing. Like, this is almost sex with clothes on. Okay. That example you just gave. Well, I'm a woman, I come in, I see you sitting there, I ask you what's wrong, and you say nothing like, do you want me to come over there and woo you and just get it out of you?
No, I don't.
No. Listen.
Like, I'm saying.
Have you ever been bothered or had an emotion and somebody asked you, Jazz, what's wrong? Have your response ever been nothing?
Yes.
So what did you want that person to do to get those emotions out of you? And when you answer that question, it's the same answer for us. Gotcha. Let's go! Let's go!
But you want me to do better with making sure that I attest to your emotions.
Oh, no. I don't want you, so I think you're confused on what I'm asking.
Well,
I'm not asking you to do better. I'm asking you to simply acknowledge the fact that when you hear sadness, tears is not the only thing that can identify sadness. That is all. Because once you acknowledge that, we remove the gender. Because now you can start to assign different reactions to the same emotion, and that'll knock all this confusion out. But because you're so stuck on tears in females, when all these other ways come up, you strip us of our ability to even show you right in your face what's going on. That's all I'm asking you to just simply acknowledge.
After that, what's the next step?
The next step is now communicating. Once we can get you to acknowledge that, well, yeah, my man was writing something in a book after he told me he had a long day at work, he must be aggravated.
Some women be knowing they men. I mean, some women know.
I mean, that's true.
Small, like they pay attention, just like when they're able to. If like he's probably dipping on, she can tell those little ticks about him, things that are different. So some women do read their man. Some women probably don't even need to ask. They probably know to exactly go in this kitchen, make him a little sandwich.
I mean, and that's true.
And bring it.
That's true. And
So
we take our hat off to those women that do.
Right.
But there's more women that don't because they're blinded by the stigma. And those are the women that we are trying to address so that we can open the door for communication. Because I'm not even finna communicate with you about how I feel if you can't even see me reacting to how I feel. Because I'm going to react before we talk anyway. Like, I'm going to be displaying this emotion already. So when you come ask me what's going on, if you haven't even recognized that my actions are different, I know you ain't finna accept my words. Just like you never seen Aaron write poetry when he was sad, so when he brought it up, it took you fast. But if you saw Aaron get sad, like if you knew Aaron broke up, and then next thing you know, you were like, what you doing? He was like, nothing, writing a poem, and you already know that he broke up. You can now start to assign those things. So I need you to be able to see it before we can talk about it. But until you denounce those social cues that are set by the female so that you can acknowledge the cues that everybody can display, we can't have no conversation about it.
So you're going to apologize.
So can we please get an apology?
I'm sorry.
Just apologize.
She only want to do it to us.
Right. Apologize for the part you played.
At least apologize for the part that you played.
Right, as far as
because
not understanding that there are different ways to express sadness or any emotion.
And they can be glazed over both genders.
Right. I shouldn't just assume that, tears correlate to sadness. Eating a lot could correlate to sadness. Let me go and check in. That, like, I understand.
Okay.
I acknowledge that.
You acknowledge and denounce the part that you played.
I'm sorry for being in playing my part and not knowing that.
Let's go. We got one. We got
all
one.
Was one.
We got one. She's only one.
The rest of the world is a goner.
Bruh. It's bad for us. Like, it's really hard on us. And
I know you keep saying, why don't y'all do better?
We are.
But like you kind of keep coming back. Like, yes, now I understand. Now I'm not gonna stigmatize. Now I'm gonna correlate different things with different emotions.
Let's go.
But now that I know this, the next step.
We can talk now. Yeah, I can talk to you now. We can communicate now. I don't mind. I can talk to you all day now. Because when I walk up on you and be like, I just cleaned my whole house, you would be like, what's wrong? There you go. There you go. Instead of, I'll be like, I just cleaned my whole house. Your normal response would be, I know something happened because you just took the weight off her. Forget my feelings. You ain't even know the fact that I done cleaned the whole house. Your first instinct was, I know something happened.
Don't use that.
Because you know you would. You know you would.
No, I would.
You know if I call you and be like, girl, Jess, I just cleaned this house from top to bottom. Your first reaction gonna be, oh, I know.
I'm glad you did that
for Swanee.
Because she needed that pressure off of her.
You see?
Because she do this.
Because you don't even acknowledge the fact that I got pressure.
She does it every day.
See the problem?
Lo and behold, if you clean the house, then we should all bow down and thank you, sir.
That's not what it's about, man.
Thank you.
It's like we only got them for like 2 seconds. And then they be like, like, they just be like, yeah, I agree. I forget that.
Bad example, though. Bad example. You know I'm gonna ride for my girl.
Man.
That was good though. I'm glad that now I see that because my brother is super non-emotional. Like,
so now you can start realizing like you are emotional. You can start to identify and acknowledge his emotional reactions.
Yeah, it's still gonna be hard because like he just kind of zones out. He'll go in his own corner. He'll go maybe riding or walking.
That's it.
And I know something's bothering him then, but then it's like he does not talk. And if I do try to, come and see what's wrong or check in like a big sister, I'm still getting the wall. So I don't know if it's maybe because I'm a sister and he doesn't want to put that on me, or he might open up to a lady friend or a friend girl of his. I don't know, but with me and seeing this young black man upset or sad, and I do try to take the initiative to see what's wrong, and there's no communication because it's just a constant nothing or I'll be fine. And so I don't want to push it. I'm the type of person that's not going to push it. I'm going to let you get your time and your space. And when I feel like there's been enough time and space, I'll try again to see if you're ready to talk. So that's what I do.
So prior to this conversation, you thought that your brother was emotionless. True or false?
True.
Now, can you agree that your brother is very emotional?
Yes.
Let's go! Let's go!
Why do I have to go through all that?
Cause y'all
talk to me. Just talk to me. Just like y'all want us to talk. All we do is
what?
All we do is talk.
We want y'all.
All we do is talk.
We want y'all to talk.
Y'all talk too.
We want y'all to. Y'all don't. Cause you hit him with that. Nothing. Clearly, that's something. Your hair is a mess. Your eyebrows is stupid. Like,
what's wrong? You better ask me. Nothing.
That's crazy.
And like I just said, you better go about your business and go do something.
So we better do it, but why should you have to do it?
Right? I just said
God forbid she got to do it.
I just said that I would do it.
But you're saying why do you have to do it?
Yeah.
What you want us to do?
Because y'all got to do it. Just like I got to do it with my brother or with another male. I'm so sick of y'all. Like, y'all are hell bent.
We are fighting a losing battle, but I'm going down swinging.
Bro, you're going to have to kill me for me to stop, son.
We going to fight this every Saturday, yo.
I'm sick of both of y'all every Saturday. I got to come out of my character to make sure I get the point. Now I get it. Because y'all are determined to keep the tables, as you say, equal. And
we just want to balance them out. We want to balance them out.
For way. We ain't the same.
We
bro.
gotta.
Just look
Clearly,
at
we
me.
are. Do you clean when you get mad?
Yes.
I clean too.
Right.
We are the same.
Not the same.
We are.
I do deep cleaning.
Oh my goodness, yo!
don't
You
know.
can't win,
I'll just take the broom, you know,
You
everything.
can't win.
I'm a sweep, I'm a mop, I'm a get up under this couch cushion. I'm a.
Can't win.
But
She said I could deep clean. Like, so I can't deep clean?
Right.
Like, I ain't. So you don't think I got more elbow muscle than
you
you?
got a comment.
What she say?
Oh, Mama's watching. Oh, Melvin said add me.
Melvin is a day late and a dollar short.
Hold on, let me read Femty Strong. It is the man's job to learn how to communicate with his spouse and not to pick at her actions and use them as an excuse not to communicate. Do it even when it's hard.
What?
Oh,
Hold on.
Next comment.
Hold on. No.
Who was it?
Now,
Miss Strong.
Now, Miss
Follow me,
Strong,
girl.
you know me and you've been rocking for a long
Y'all
time.
come for her.
But I
She
gotta
said
get
what
you.
she said.
I gotta get you. So listen. let's take this piece by piece, right?
She also said, don't worry about the reaction. Your job is to communicate. Do it anyway. So men are never going to be great if the stigma don't change. There is a stigma, and there are men who are the opposite of what you are saying. How did they do it? We have what we need to be great. Too much energy on others. Yes, it's harder to do, but it can be done.
So listen, and I may be interpreting what you're saying wrong, but you're doing the same thing and the very thing. Thank you. Thank you, Monique. Thank you, Monique.
Let's go, baby.
So listen. You're doing the very thing that we're trying to explain to you. You are specifically assigning the job of just dealing with it to men as if women don't have a part to play in this as well.
Thank you, Miss Strong.
You can't stand with nobody when they're falling.
Men have the open door. The box is a personal choice.
Melvin, send me a request. I don't know how to. You got to send me a request.
You can assume a reaction.
Don't do it, Jay.
Oh, wait, there we go.
Ooh. Melvin.
Bro, y'all.
He said, "Don't do it."
I said that. Reaction of men.
Bishop.
I'm sick of you, sir. Don't come on here with the
Bishop.
Yo.
So you've been listening and tuning in. What do you think about the conversation at hand?
Oh, I see your wine, sir.
Oh, how y'all doing?
Pretty good.
You know I agree. You know I agree with Jazz.
Hold on.
Come on, Melvin. Provide your reasoning.
Wait. Before you get into that. Hold on, wait. I gotta make sure you understand what's going on though.
Right.
What you have to understand is, Bishop, Jazz has already agreed with is on our side, but she's just holding on to the stigma. So Jazz already agreed with the fact that it's wrong and we need to change the way we see it, but she's still holding on to it because she said it's just too much to do. So go ahead.
All right.
I caught probably like the last 15 minutes of it. But you know, we don't really think the same way on the same lines that they do or feel the exact same. Most of the time, I know me, most of it I don't care about. Only the meat of the problem, but they care about every fine little, detail of whatever the issue is. Kind of like that blank sheet of paper analysis. They want us to read between the lines. Ain't no lines on the type of paper.
Ain't no lines on that paper.
There's lines on the paper, Melvin. Don't bring that back up.
But this the thing though. This the thing though, Melvin. I agree with that. Women do care about the small details, but that's not the premise. The premise of the discussion was, do men and women have the same emotions? We've already agreed that we display them differently, but most people think that
Right.
we don't have the same emotions. There's not a bag of emotions that are assigned to women that men don't have access to as well. Agree or disagree?
You don't think so?
Okay. So I got one question, and if you can answer this question, you are right. Name one emotion that women have that men don't have.
I think that whole nurturing, type of deal they got going on with and without children, like we're more like, hey, get this done, and if you can't get it done, get out the way. They're more, give you 5, 6, 7 chances.
Hold on. No, don't because he ain't saying nothing. So you're saying that there's no man on earth that has the ability to nurture.
Not like.
Let me prove you wrong. Okay. I need a definition of nurture. Because I'm finna bust him real quick. It is. I'm finna use me. Of course I'm finna use me. Because I do this. So can I get a definition of nurture?
Oh, no, because we're talking about emotion.
No, he brought up nurture.
Well,
he brought up nurture, so I'm finna give him something to nurture.
I got several people on
I don't care about that. I'm finna bust him.
They said stop yelling at me.
Oh, my bad.
They said relax y'all's passion.
I'm sorry.
For me.
I'm finna get you a definition of nurture, sir, and I'm finna break down how Adrian Poe meets that definition.
So nurture.
Okay.
Care for and encourage.
Hold on, wait. Let's take it one step at a time. The definition of nurture is
care for.
Everybody in the world know I deeply care for my wife. Like right now in her current situation,
that's true.
I am caring for my wife. Do you care for your wife? Yes or no? Only yes or no.
Yes,
all right, go ahead.
That's true.
Oh, my son. Do I care for my son? Do you care for your daughter?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And
encourage. Do you encourage your wife? Do you encourage your daughter? All right,
and encourage the growth or development.
The growth or development. Have your wife grown since she's been married to you?
Yeah.
Is your daughter growing since you've been her father?
Yeah.
All right. That's all. So would you call yourself a nurturer?
Not in the same sense.
You can't fight definition. You not Webster. You can't fight definition, son. Are you not a man? Are you not a man?
Yeah.
Are you not a man?
Yeah, but not in the same sense as them.
You're a nurturer, though. Period. I'm not debating the level of nurturing. I'm debating the ability to nurture.
Gotcha.
Boom. What's up?
That dude crazy, man.
Adrian Poe 2020. Adrian Poe 2020. So I'm gonna ask the question again. Name one emotion that a woman has that a man don't have. Not different levels. The emotion itself.
Not different levels. I'm gonna say love. I mean, well, you say not different levels because they don't.
Not the levels.
They love
I'm not
way
talking
different.
about levels.
Not the levels.
I'm not talking levels. I'm talking ability.
I just don't think with the emotions we would ever equal up to women or be greater than them.
Levels. I'm talking about
you're not talking about
ability. Name one emotion that a woman has that a man don't have.
I'm gonna say effort then.
What?
You gonna say what?
Effort.
What is that?
Like we need them to push us in most cases.
Okay. Effort.
Your effort.
Definition?
Mm-hmm.
You just put it for strong, but I can take it though. I can take it.
And look at tape.
I can take it. I can take it. We gonna take it there. Effort is not even an emotion.
You making him do it.
Effort is not even an emotion.
It's not.
No, that's why society is the way that it is because y'all been lying too long.
Listen.
All right.
The definition of effort.
The definition of effort.
A vigorous or determined attempt.
A vigorous are determined attempts. Is there anything in your life that you have been determined to do that you did?
Yeah, but I would say this.
That's it.
Without the push of a woman, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Son.
Yeah.
What's
Somebody
your-
said patience. Yeah, patience. Patience. Somebody said
Women's
patience.
emotions, I would say, are a lot more.
Women's emotions are a lot more stronger.
Even
So,
though we have the same
this is the
word,
thing. Y'all
Yeah.
are still talking about levels. And I don't have a problem with levels because we're different people. We are different people. So I ain't debating the levels of emotion because they're gonna fluctuate. What I'm debating is the concept that the world has that men and women have different emotions. That is foolish and is not true.
we do have the same emotion.
Thank you. That's all I had.
So this little part I just pulled up here, it does say that women show relatively stronger emotional expressivity, whereas men have
Right. That's what I
stronger
was getting
emotional
at. Yeah.
experiences with angry and positive stimuli.
That's stigmatized though.
So you mad at?
I mean, no, I'm not mad. I ain't debating.
But that's what I'm saying.
Get him,
This
James.
is why I have my thoughts and views on it, because men are not initially taught it's okay to just cry. It's okay to,
Correct.
do whatever. Show an emotion outside of being tough.
And this
And
is
so
why.
you grow up into
Correct.
adulthood not really connected to your emotions or your feelings. And now I have to walk in the house and see something wrong for me to go over.
That's what you're merging. So that's the problem.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why.
What you're considering not connected is not true. You're basing being not connected on me not displaying it the same way that you do. You can't say, when I said sadness, you said crying. That's connected to sadness, right? When I said sadness to Aaron, he said poetry.
Right.
You don't see that as being connected, but that's still his outlet. And who are you to say that your connection is stronger because you can produce water out your eyes than his because he can produce a very beautiful book of literature? Who makes that determination? How did you get that much power to say that tears are stronger than being able to write
I
literature?
didn't say my tears
You
are
just
stronger.
said that the connection is stronger.
I didn't say my tears are stronger. That's just the common thing that you
But
associate
is
sadness
it
with. That was just another
logical to say that?
That's just
Yes or no?
Hold on. So let me. So you said men aren't taught growing up to display particular emotions a specific way, right?
Right.
Correct.
Specifically sadness.
Correct.
If a boy gets sad, we're taught to just
Go outside, maybe hit the punch bag, or go.
Is that a display though?
That is a display.
So what display is stronger, crying or hitting a punching bag?
Again,
Which display is stronger, crying or hitting a punching bag?
both. Because but my thing is, instead of you
Crying.
feeling that emotion of sadness, you want to
wait. Hold on.
Finish your point.
By me hitting that punching bag, you don't think I'm feeling emotion because I'm not crying?
No, I'm not saying that. That's another outlet.
So
I'm saying instead of you really
But crying is one of the greatest emotions.
Where do you get that from? Like where did that? Like, is that in the Bible somewhere? Like the guy come back.
Basically,
like, hey, y'all, if you cry, that's the greatest emotion. And then
all right. So Adrian, put it like this, Adrian. So remember when Lazarus died, he could have easily said Jesus was sad, but he said Jesus wept to show him that he can cry just like the rest of us.
Go ahead,
Huh?
So listen.
Ain't that not what you said?
Listen. So the example that you gave that men are taught to do growing up to express sadness was you gave an example of going to punch a bag, right?
Yes, angry or positive stimuli.
Right. So
not even to punch a bag, but to man up.
Yeah.
To be a man, to toughen up.
Yeah, I just gave a punch bag as just an example, but yes, like they basically are taught that you attempt to show your emotion or cry.
Yeah.
Don't show no emotion. Wipe the tears up. Like, what is wrong with it?
There you go.
There's nothing wrong with it, but there's also nothing wrong with other displays of that emotion. Just because we're not taught to cry,
doesn't mean that
we're not displaying that emotion.
Smart to cry.
So
you just you know what I mean. I'm meaning as far as when you are a child and you do show that emotion instead of you really crying about it or getting it
So
out.
why do you keep reverting back to crying being the only way to connect? You are. Because we're giving you another outlet, but you're still making us cry. So I have a question. Which is a greater connection to the emotional sadness? Crying or going to the gym hitting a punching bag?
I don't know. Whichever one you make you.
No. So you are study connecting crying to
I
sadness.
just say that I understand that there are different ways to show.
But you still assigning more weight to one than the other.
I'm explaining why the society that y'all are trying to debunk.
VERB don't care about society. We care about what's logically sound. Okay. This is why the word is VERB.
All right.
You know you wrong. Stupid. Do you see the problem? Like she's still putting weight on crying, but they're saying, I know you can do a punching bag, but you cry, you're not connected.
No, so I get what you're saying.
But Adrian,
I'm
crying
with
connect.
the world is the one that's shaping the idea of the way men display emotions and the way women display emotions.
And
We're simply saying, in order to change that, we have to now configure our minds around accepting all displays of emotions
as equal. Punching bag, crying, poetry, all equal.
It doesn't always just have to be.
It does not have to be.
It's not all equal though.
You get it?
Adrian, if I saw you punching a,
I can't because he's gonna still have his own.
Could you help little man understand?
But look, Adrian, if I saw you punching a bag, I wouldn't equate that with you going through
And that's
something.
the problem.
You could be working out.
That's the problem. You don't even know how to identify other forms of emotion because you stigmatized by simply crying. So if I'm at the gym going in, you be like, hey, bro, you go there. Woo! And I'm depressed.
Yeah, you working out.
I got anxiety. I'm broke. My wife finna leave me. And you in the background. Woo! My boy getting bucked. But you
work. But you working out though, so that don't, we can't just like, Adrian going through something like
that's
no.
the problem.
He working out.
So listen. So the thing is, we're simply saying the fact that you are not normally associating me punching a punching bag with a different form of emotional display is the problem. Because I am displaying an emotion, but if it don't look like what you're used to, you can't recognize it. That's the problem.
But let me ask you, well, what is wrong with crying?
No, we're not saying anything is wrong with crying. So let me
Okay,
ask
you're
you
not
a
saying
question.
that. Okay.
What is wrong with a different display of the same emotion?
I mean, depending on that display, it could be detrimental to others around you.
I mean, now that's different. That's when you're causing harm to somebody else.
Okay.
But if the emotion is not, the emotional outlet is not causing harm to anybody else, is there anything wrong with displaying the same emotion but in a different outlet? Yes or no?
No.
I just want the world to
He that's him. That's him.
You can't change it, bro.
So this is the thing. Do you agree or disagree now that women and men have the same emotion, but they simply display them differently? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, do you agree or disagree that neither display of emotion is greater or lesser than the other?
Symbolically, yes, but technically.
Thank you. That's all I
Because
need.
it's like I said, if I saw you working or something.
Cut it off. Verb in, verb out. Believe that.